conversations with beings that other people can't hear, then yeah, it becomes very questionable. But again, this is probably a very common occurrence. And of course, I do know for a fact, or at least I suspect very strongly, that our government and especially our military has already been in contact with such beings, and that part of our technological jump forward in engineering processes and so forth were aided by information given to them by extraterrestrial beings. I do believe that Roswell was very much a first contact. And yes, fortunately, the Secrecy Act has expired on that by now. And but yes, we had a lot of beings that have come and connected with lots of different people all over the earth. And, it's time that our government, and they slowly are, believe it or not, they slowly are admitting that, in fact, there are, other beings and that there are spaceships and so forth in our atmosphere and stratosphere. And they have been, taking pictures of them, and it's been noted for the record that, yes, there has been contact. But they are not near prepared necessarily to come all the way forward and go on record exactly how extensive that contact was. And, of course, you have to look at it from the perspective that there are numerous agencies within our government that utilize information on a need-to-know basis, and that's exactly where a lot of it stands is, if you don't have the need to know, then you're not going to know.
Unfortunately,
but, yes, for them to come forward to the extent that there is no longer a deniability. In other words, we're talking about, who knows, maybe 100, maybe 1,000, maybe 100,000 ships all appearing within our immediate atmosphere at one given time, then no, there will no longer be the capability of denying their existence. Now, whether the first contact will be to that extent, or whether it will be just one humongous ship that, is like the size of a couple dozen football fields. I mean, to see such a spaceship of such diameter and such propensity would again, be undeniable for one, but it would be obviously foreign to our capability of putting something in space.
Right. Well, the biggest problem I see, and I don't know if it's disagree with, but it's the governments have been trying to hide the information and how it's going to be able to come forward. It is not to be where you said hundreds or thousands of ships at once. That would be a total panic worldwide. Whereas I feel the way that it's been moving for the last 50 years, more public, to where we've had a chance as species here, planet Earth, to start accepting the fact that we're not the only intelligent, questionable species in the universe, and that we're now moving into a phase of recognition by other intelligent beings, which is to be used in a way that would be better off for us as earthlings, earth humans. So, and it has to do with medical and to help us as humans be able to survive and be able to take our place in the universe as far as intelligent beings. There's so much of that starting and going on right now that it's a case of being able to make it go public. And again, it's our press that depends on how they handle it. They go into a panic phase and a panic mode and say this reptilian-looking, which I don't expect to see that anyway, species. People go into a panic mode and they can't think straight. But when you're dealing with making acquaintance with intelligent beings that don't look a whole lot different than we are now, because that's going to be maybe a little bit easier. And then again, if you look at the intelligent beings, if they have, first of all, you have to accept that out throughout the universe, the whole existence, everything, there are bound to be other beings very similar to what we are here in our our planet and our solar system. So if we've got intelligent beings in other galaxies, then I'm sure they've had a chance to come. If they're coming here, they've had a chance for contact just about anywhere. And it's just a case of us standing up and saying, okay, I'm ready now to become educated into the universe and see what it is that our Creator, our being, has made available to us. It's just one step at a time, and I'm ready to make that next step. How about you? You've already had some contact, and I could go into my contact too sometime. Very interesting. I'm pleased the opportunity to meet you, Richard. And we can talk some more sometime about how your contact went, and from there. So,
sure.
Has it continued on any more since your original contact?
Yes, and it's kind of hard to describe in words other than to say that there's been telepathic contact. In other words, like the awareness that there is something beyond my physical sight, but within my awareness, expanding out, who knows, possibly to the upper parts of the stratosphere or what have you, that allows me to know that there is a presence up there of a spacecraft, and there are beings on that craft, and there has been some minor communication here and there. Okay, I have not been privileged with actually meeting them firsthand, which,
right.
So yes, I am very much ready for that to actually occur, and I do believe that hopefully the majority of the human race are of like mind. You know what I'm saying? It's gotten to the point that I believe the undeniability factor has spread far and wide, and perhaps that we are ready now to accept beings from another galaxy or another universe or another, wherever they happen to be from, and have that first contact. And I agree. I believe they will be peaceful. I agree that they are here to help. I believe that they will help us medically. I believe that they will help us scientifically. They will help us probably energetically, as far as the proper use of energy and that kind of thing, which all of these, of course, will in turn drastically change our mode of living, because there will be a whole different construct of how things should be utilized and how things should be made use of, and this kind of thing. You see what I'm saying? Maybe they'll have cures for to get us away from all of these diseases and all of these different things that we undergo physically. Maybe they will have potential medical solutions to all of that. And of course, there will have to be a better distribution of food so that we get rid of all the starvation in the world. And hopefully we can get past having wars or, skirmishes or whatever you want to call them currently, because there's really no need for that when it really comes down to it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like you. Why should any one given government or one given power have complete say over the entirety of the Earth's resources? I don't think that should be the case. I would think that should be spread out in such a way that there eliminates a lot of all of the cruelty and starvation and abuse that is going on currently. I think that it can be abolished very readily.
I agree with you completely. That's been one of the concerns, and that is how our governments, well, actually we know how our governments have reacted. We just go back as far as Roswell and the almost good contact then. How the governments are going to react, well, we know how the government's going to react, because they've been really closed-minded, isn't it? Correct me if I'm wrong, governments and people in positions of authority and power don't want to give up that power, and unfortunately, that can lead into some very serious situations where we are now. And I would personally, in thinking about what we were just discussing, that we will not see a mass of thousands of craft showing up in our universe. That would be like we're being attacked, and it's going to come in more kind of some of these. Remember some of the, well, I don't know if you're old enough, science fiction where they landed right there off the Washington D.C. and England, right off where the crown is, and all different countries. They would come and land in there to show that they're here to help us take on a position within the galaxy with other intelligent species and take care of the problems that we still, as a species, we have all kinds of medical problems and physical problems, and being able to support our families. There are things that we can learn, and if, in my opinion, it's mine right fast, is if species have made the transition from one galaxy to another to come and visit where we are here in this world, surely they have learned ways of producing ways to avoid starvation and no education. I think we would be in a position then, with a little help of being sure that our and correct me if I'm wrong here, Earthlings, humans, are a little strange in that some say, well, we've got plenty of food here, the rest of you guys can go starve. No, that's not the way it should be. It needs to be that we all work together as a species, as humans, and make life livable the way our deity, the way God had it for us, to grow and learn, and that's what I look forward to. I had stepped up and taken on not deity, stepped forward and became ordained and actually handled a couple of churches that I had working for a while. Gosh, we're talking about decades ago. But and that was just part of the background in life I had, and I'm still willing to do whatever we need to do that's proper, if that's a proper term, and the way that we can help each other, humans, to move into a phase of intelligence beings in the universe and of all the creation. So I'm saying be prepared, because in my opinion, which one nice thing about America is we're authorized to have our own opinion, so long as it's not foul, a little too far. So I'm ready, and we'll see just exactly what happens when it is made public. And I'm going to stick with what I've been saying all year, is that before the end of this year, we should be able to be more in direct public contact, and that's got to be peaceful. We'll see where it goes from there. Can you step in and go from that? Is that kind of along the same line you're at?
Sure. I agree with you. Naturally, if hundreds of thousands of ships all appear at the same time and completely around the world, then yes, we're going to feel threatened, and we're going to feel like some kind of invasion is going on or something of that nature. Whereas perhaps if smaller ships are used and they're sent to all of the, I guess you could say, seats of power to all of the governments around the world for all of the countries around the world at the same time, and the hand of peace is extended and say, hey, we're here to help, we're here to show you things that will make your lives a whole lot easier, and show you different ways to manipulate energy and different ways to manipulate sustenance and so forth. And of course, possibly to do away with a lot of illness and suffering and so forth. And I think that would be very warmly received, more so nowadays than, say, even 100 years ago or less,
Right.
But again, it's a mindset, it's not only going to the point of saying, acknowledging first and foremost that, of course, there are other intelligent beings and intelligent species within our cosmos, or